Preparing for live stream. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Hello, 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 everyone. Oh boy, I didn't realize my whole setting would look like that. Okay. All right, you guys, we are trying a new setup today. At least I am on my side. Oh, Lord Almighty. Okay. Okay. Got it. All right, guys. Sorry, so sorry. Technical difficulties on my end. And you can see my whole camera setup here. I apologize, but hey, it is what it is. Just go with the flow. And thank you for joining the Roll of the Die crew on this July Roll of the Die episode. This is our fourth opportunity getting together, you guys, to bring to you our projects today. So last month we rolled, well, we didn't roll the die. We did the slide thing there because I couldn't get to my die. And what we had for this roll of the die was Delft or Faux tile, watercoloring, embossing folders, and your projects had to be at least 2 layers for today. So I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves, and then we're going to kick it off with Kathy, who's going to start us off. Hold on one second. Let me focus you. Go ahead, Kath.
Hi, I'm Kathy Irvin. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I've been a demonstrator for 2 years, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yay! Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Hollings, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been a demonstrator for 2 years, and I'm a demonstrator out of Staten Island, New York.
Yay! Hey guys, and you guys know who I am. I am Caron Bailey. I am also an independent demonstrator. I hit 7 years with Stampin' Up! On June 23rd, and I am excited to be here with my girls today, where we can share with you guys this project, okay? So Kathy's gonna go first, and you guys have to bear with me so I can make sure I get all the mechanics and everything going, but her 20 minutes will start as soon as I get on her workstation. Give me 1 second, and Kathy, you can take it away.
Okay, that's not my workstation. Are you looking at my workstation? In my workstation. Well, while Corinne is doing that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. No. I forgot to mention that I am a demonstrator here in the Houston, Texas area. So if you need a demonstrator, I'm here. I am going to present to you today using the Kindest Gnomes suite. As you can see, these are the stamps. They're so cute. And please forgive my unneatness. These are the dies. So I'm going to set these aside for a moment because I don't think I'm going to actually need them right now. So the first thing we're going to do is watercolor. Now, I'm not a fan of watercoloring. However, since it was one of the requirements, I have to do it. So I don't have a water painter, which you can purchase from my website, but I do have some water brushes. So I'm going to wet my paper, well, my cardstock. And this is not water cardstock, so it's going to buckle. And I'm going to start off using Starry Sky ink. We're going to make a sky. Oops, forgot to get my paper towel. And it's just that simple to watercolor. Now we're going to go to Balmy Blue to make it a slightly less blue. I don't know if you can see my colors here. So it gets lighter. And then we're going to move on to soft suede, which is going to give us the appearance of ground. Now, what you want to do is let this dry. And when it's dry, move these out of the way, you can run it through your embossing folder, which I chose the Natural Prints embossing folder, which is like this. Once it's dry and you run it through the embossing folder, it looks like this. Let me wipe this up a little bit.
Absolutely gorgeous, Kath. And Kath, can you talk to anybody about, I see you going from your brush directly into your ink pad. Is that going to cause any issues?
You know what? I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to put it on my ink blot, and I've completely forgot my acrylic. You're supposed to, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm sorry. I'm glad you mentioned that, Karan. Let me move this back. This is how it's supposed to do. Okay? You're not supposed to go directly into your ink. Okay? Thank you. So we're done with that. Now, the next thing is the faux tile technique. And I've done most of it. And what I did is I took the paper, cardstock rather, and I scored it every inch, and then every inch and a quarter. And then I'm going to take this, I am going into my ink. Take my ink brush. These are really good brushes. These are Stampin' Up brushes. And I'm going to use this to keep from going into other spaces. And I'm just going to go on the right side, kind of at an angle. It wouldn't stay still, so. All right, so then we've got this tile effect. Can you see? Looks like, kind of looks like tile. All right, so that's done. So we're going to take our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4.25. And we're going to put this down. Now with our gnomes, we can stamp our gnomes and color them and do all types of things. But if you're not a colorer, you don't have to be. The gnomes, the suite comes with these little houses and your gnomes, and all you have to do is use the dies and cut them out. So you don't even have to color them. And that's what I did. I cut out a little house and I cut out a little gnome girl. But first, I'm going to put this down. And if I have time, I'll show you the paper at the end. If I have time. So I like to use liquid glue, especially for this technique when you're using a embossing folder, so it could get into all those nooks and crannies. And stick those down real well. Cover this up before I get my hands in it. So I've got 2 layers. And if you count my gnome house and my gnome girl, that's more than 2 layers. Am I right? I think I'm right. So we're just going to put,
You're right.
we're going to put her little house straight down. However, we're going to pop her up. And I meant to get, this has not been the best of mornings for me. Ever gotten up and just everything seemed to be backwards. That's how I feel today.
Many times, many times.
So, of course, I don't see, oh, here's one. I don't see very many of my dimensionals, but I'm going to put one here. And let me give you a tip. Don't throw these away. You say, oh, but it's empty. Oh, but no. Cut these off. Use them. They are dimensionals. Just have to cut them off. Don't waste your money. That's one of the things I really like about Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Okay, so we're going to take these off. I should have used my Take Your Pick tool to take that off. And we're going to put her right there. Another part of the suite are these fine sparkle adhesive back gems. I'm going to use a couple of these with my Take Your Pick tool. Oops. I think my finger is a little sticky. And I'm going to put some of these gems around. I like using 3s. Another part of the suite is this ribbon. It's a beautiful ribbon. It's not good for making bows. So what you can do, oh, you know what else I forgot? My sentiment. I went to look for it. You can cut this. We need to stamp our sentiment. How much time do I have?
9 minutes.
Huh?
9 minutes.
Oh, I got plenty of time. So let's stamp your kindness. No, let's see which one. Yeah, your kindness has not gone unnoticed. I haven't put the tag on it yet, so kindness. And we're going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Stamp it. I don't like that one. It smudged a little. Okay, we'll try to do it better this time. Otherwise, we'll just use the other one. That's better. And we're just going to cut it this way. And cut it this way. And then I'm going to run some of our Stamp and Seal Plus. And I'm going to put my ribbon down. Let's get some more Stamp and Seal Plus. No, I did that upside down, but that's okay. You get the idea, right? This didn't come out right. Just do it like this. Because it's not going to lay right. And we'll cut another piece of Stampin' Dimensional. Put it on the back. I want to get that straight if I can. Oh, what a mess.
You should see what our workstations look like. That is not a mess.
Okay. And that's our finished card.
Hooray!
Beautiful, Kat.
Thank you. Now, what I did want to show you, if you have still a couple of minutes, are some of the papers. These are beautiful papers. These are some of the papers that come with the gnome paper. Look how cute. Still have some gnome houses I can use to cut out. And believe me, I will.
And you said the dies fit on that one perfectly, Kat?
Yes, we cut them out with the dies. It's really pretty. This makes a beautiful background for the gnomes.
Oh, I like that.
I know.
There's another sheet of gnomes. The dies cut this out perfectly. Look how cute. That's pretty. And we saw this one. As you can see, I've been using my gnome paper quite a bit. So that is my presentation.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kat. Let me get Michelle. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, because here we go. Let me get y'all spotlit and then we can take it away, Michelle.
Okay, here is the card that I'm going to be making, and it features a lot of dies. It's a lot of die cutting. I wanted the focal piece to actually be the background, the faux tile background. So let's get started. What I used as my stamp set and punch is the handmade wishes bundle on page 21 of the catalog. So I used this punch, and then I used this stamp right here. So I also brought in the Quatrefoil Tile 3D embossing folder, as well as the Stylish Shapes dies. I used this big tag and this big circle. And I also used some things I had in my stash already cut out. I like to keep cutouts and die cuts of everything, and I keep them in gum cases. So I used from the Pen Flowers dies, this flower cut on white. And then from the Brilliant Wings dies, I used this butterfly cut from vellum. So we're going to use some fresh freesia for our card base, which is 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5. We are going to use shimmery white cardstock, a whole piece, and we're going to cut that down. And then we're going to also use this beautiful in-colored glimmer paper, which I just adore. I think it is stunning. It's ombre. I used it to cut out my little punches here. So I got 2 out of this small piece, and then this is going to be used as my mat. So for our background, I'm going to take a whole piece of shimmery white. I have scored it on my trimmer at 1.5-inch intervals across the entire thing on each direction. Then I cut it down by turning it this way and then just cutting out a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. So you should get at least 2 3 3/4 by 5 out of one sheet, and then you'll have extra pieces. What I did with the extra piece was I just used my snips to cut out one little square for the tile. And we are going to do some watercoloring on that. So I'm going to take my grid paper, and I'm just going to take this lovely piece of shimmery white, and I'm going to cover up. I'm going to just do square by square. And I will take some fresh freesia ink. You're going to take your ink pad and you're just going to flip it over and press real hard. Press real hard like that. And you open it up and you're going to have a little well of ink. You're going to use your water painter, and you can don't put a lot of water, just a little bit. You don't want your paper to buckle too much for this. So you're just going to pick up some mask off where you don't want to have the color and just do a little tiny bit. Then you're going to have it's going to bring out the areas where your faux tile is going to be for our Delft tile technique or faux tile technique. So we're going to do that for all of the squares. Just keep going until you have something that you like. Go all around. You can add a little more water if you need, depending on how dark or light you want this part. One more. You guys need to keep me honest on time. Here we go. Do one more. Well, 2 more. I lied, it's 2. Okay, so you're gonna have a piece that looks like that. It's gonna look slightly quilted, right? So then don't put your watercolor away, because you're gonna take your butterfly that you cut out of the vellum and you're gonna color him too. It's going to give you a kind of purpley wash on your butterfly. And then you'll let him dry a little bit. And then you can put some Wink of Stella on it to make it shimmery, which I think would be very pretty. Once your background is dry, you're going to run it through your embossing folder, the Quatrefoil embossing folder. And then you're going to have a piece that looks like that. So in order to bring out the background a little bit, you just take some more Fresh Freeze ink and your blending brush. And just do a little bit of light blending to bring out your tile pattern. And that's just going to make it stand out a little bit more. And that is all you need for your background. So I'll put that to the side and let it dry a little bit. And let's do our stamping. So we're going to take the Stylish Shapes die. We have a little tag that we cut. And I'm going to take my With Love, some Orchid Oasis ink, and just give it a little love there. And I'm going to take the little heart that comes in the set, a little heart. And that is going to be our sentiment. Put that off to the side. And now it's really all about assemblage. So the interesting thing when you're using vellum is you don't want all of your adhesive to show. So I like to use wet glue behind things if possible. So I'm going to get out my silicone mat and I am going to start out by adhering my mat to the base. Some Tombow mono liquid glue, green glue. Card front. You can play around a little bit until it sets, which is the good thing about liquid glue. So then you'll have that piece. I'm just going to stick this piece in this excess glue. Get some of that off. And now you really want to use liquid glue when you're using an embossed panel. Glue to get all in those nooks and crannies to make sure it sticks. Put your background piece, smush it down real good. It's always good when your nails match your card. Love that. And then we are going to take our Stylish Shapes vellum circle and we're going to put our lovely handmade tag punch on top of that. So we could really put the glue back here. It's going to be covered up. So put as much glue as you want, which is good because you're putting it on this raised surface. I'm just going to put it in the center. That's going to be covered. Some more glue. Get that guy down. And then we are going to, now here's the interesting part. We're going to take, what do we want to do first? Let's take our With Love, add some dimensionals to the back. I didn't do this on my first version, but I want to see how it looks on this one. That guy there. Now we have our lovely little butterfly. Glue him down. And I'm only going to put the glue in the very center. Whoa, that's a lot of glue. Maybe didn't need that much. Right there. And all of this is a little bit textured, so the extra glue won't hurt there. I am going to put some embellishments. I have these lovely in color matte decorative dots. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. Just going to put it in the center. 3 of these. Down, let that dry. And then the last piece for this card is really just going to be this one die cut. So to put this one on, this is tricky. I'm going to put some glue down on the silicone mat. And just kind of squish them around there. Get glue all over it. It's nasty work. All right, and you can stick this anywhere you want it. I did it on the left side on the first one. I'm going to do it on the right side on this one. And you can use your tool if you want to kind of smush that down a bit. It doesn't have to be all the way flat. And that is our finished card.
Michelle, you still have about 5 minutes if you want to do tips and tricks or anything about what you did.
Tips and tricks. I mean, it's really, nope, I got nothing. It's really self-explanatory. It's just make sure you're using the right adhesive for the different mediums and papers that you're using. So if you're using something textured that has a lot of tooth, if you're using embossed panels, you want that liquid glue. And
Awesome.
that's the whole card. Yay!
Thank
Corona
you.
lots of time.
I know, I see this. Woohoo! Thank you, Michelle. All right, let me get myself spotlit here. All right, you guys, this is Caron. I'm gonna keep my face out of it. Hopefully you guys can see my workstation. It looks a little crooked to me. So I'm gonna make some adjustments. Ah, that's what the extra time is all about, huh? Anyway,
Yep.
you guys. All right, so let me share with you what I'm going to do. This was my sample, the project that I created. Very, very simple. And you can see the score lines that I used and the projects that I used to come up with my design. And I created an envelope for my card. Let me share with you the pieces and parts that I used to create my card. And by the way, you guys, I actually have a tutorial for you. So don't worry about any kind of measurements or anything like that, because I do have a tutorial ready for you guys. So let me share what I used. I used the, this one's retired. This is the Coastal Weave 3D embossing folder. The Graceful Tiles set. This is a photopolymer set. You can find this in the annual catalog on page 113. I also use the Very Best Occasions stamp set. Actually, this is a bundle, and it comes with this punch. Oh my gosh, I'm falling in love with this punch like nobody's business. As part of the bundle, I love the sentiments. Take a look if you have the opportunity to see what the sentiments say. Today, I'm going to be using sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. And the other thing that I used was the Basic Borders dies, okay? So here's what I started with. And again, like I said, the parts and pieces dimensions are going to be in the tutorial. So if I don't mention something, don't worry about it, you will get it. All right, so here we go. This is a piece of our fluid watercolor paper. And so what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna change up the image that I'm using in my set for a little bit, and I'm gonna use this image instead. And I'm going to be using Tahitian Tide, Pacific Point, and Night of Navy as my colors for this project. So of course I wanna start with my lightest color of ink, and that is the Tahitian Tide. And you know that random stamping is not necessarily random, right? So I'm just gonna random stamp. Let me put a piece of paper back under here so I don't mess my surface up. right? And I'm just gonna start with randomly stamping this image in the different colors that I have, okay? They say random, right? I think that's all I'm gonna use for the Tahitian Tide. Then I'm gonna come right on in with Pacific Point. And because I'm going from light to dark, I don't necessarily need to clean the stamp in between because I am going from light to dark. And then I'm going to just kind of fit the other color where I want them to be. And so this one technically would be somewhere up here. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with my Night of Navy. Actually, I think I need to put, we'll see where we're going to fill in color. Then I'm going to go with Night of Navy as my next darkest color, or my last color. And I'm going to finish the pattern and have the Night of Navy go right in there. And then I'm going to have the Night of Navy in here. And I think that's all we're going to do. Okay. So because this is watercolor ink, it's going to dry really quickly. The dye-based ink, it's going to dry very quickly on this cardstock. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And you have to pardon me, it is not a Stampin' Up! Scoreboard, but the Stampin' Up! One just would not fit in frame. Be a little big. And what I did was I went 1.5 inches on each 1.5 inches on one side. Inch and a half would bring me to 3. And then I did 1 3/4 inches on the other side. Oh no, see, that's the ink. Gotta let it dry a little bit, y'all. It's okay. That's why we're gonna watercolor wash it, right? And then on the other side, I decided I was gonna go with 1 3/4 inches. And then that would take me to 3 1/4. Okay. So that's going to create my tile effect, or the score lines for my tile. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come right back in. I have a piece of silicone that I had from somewhere. I don't even know where I got this from, that I'm going to use as my palette. And so I know I'm definitely going to use Pacific Point. I'm going to stamp some on here. And I might use my Tahitian Tide also as my color. Okay. So I have 2 options here. I can come in with the water spritzer and spritz to create the palette, or I can just go in with, or I can do both with my watercolor aqua painters and just make sure I have water in the bristles, and I can do it that way. I think I have a little bit more control if I do it this way, but hey, we'll try both ways and see what we get as a result. So I've also gone ahead and I've created my template, as you can see, and then I'm just going to line it up. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me get some water on here first. I just put that somewhere and I don't know where I just put it. Is that my light? Because I just put that water. There it is. Hi. So here we go. I'm just going to move that guy out. I'm going to put a little water. little water, right? And I think I want to go in with the medium tip brush. Stampin' Up! Has, they sell the aqua painters, I think in a 3-pack, right, Michelle? Correct me if I'm wrong. And you have a fine tip, a medium bristle, and then you have a flat head. So I'm going to use the medium tip bristle to add color. Okay. And so, like I said, with my template, now you have to be very careful, and you have to be careful because the ink is still water-based ink. And so if you don't want to smear your image too much, you have to just be very careful and cognizant of where you're adding your wash color. So I'm going to go in with the wash. Can you see? And I'm just going to do my wash. And I'm extending my wash a little bit because I want to come in and blend a little bit more, if that makes sense, what I just said. Okay. I'm going to go here. Add some more. And I'm not paying any particular attention to care or making sure that I do this much or that much. I am just adding a base color of wash on my image. And then once I've added this color, I'm going to go right back in with the Pacific Point. Add a little highlighting shading. Right. I'm so glad I had that extra time, Michelle. Ha ha ha.
All works out.
I know, right? And you guys, I am not a fan of watercoloring. I tell Mich when it came up on the wheel, I was like, no, because I don't think I'm very good at watercoloring, and so therefore it's one of those things that I absolutely avoid. Okay, I absolutely avoid it as much as possible.
And it's my favorite thing because it's so forgiving. It's whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be exact.
See, that's what she says, right? Okay. So I'm gonna switch out my color. And the thing I did like and appreciate about the watercoloring note was if you didn't, I don't want to say if you didn't like it, but if you wait a little bit, and typically you would let it dry and set for a little bit, right? Because if you just mesh the colors together, you're gonna have, it's not gonna have an opportunity to get to its true watercolor tone. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit here. You see the 2 different tones already, right? That I'm starting to use. Oops, let's come down here. And I'm trying to, with watercolors, do a little highlighting and shading. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. And hopefully it's a success. Right? Just so that I can share with you the different, oops, I'm trying not to get my cardstock completely soaked. All right, so all I'm doing is bringing this darker shade in my Pacific Point. All right, one more time, right here. Make sure I have the corner in there. Where's my corner? Right there. All right, make sure I have that. You're like, why is she being so sparse with the color? You'll see why in a little bit, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and rinse this out. I think I did it one more. Yeah, I got it everywhere that I had color. And I'm gonna quickly heat set this with my heat gun. And I'm gonna go right back in with the lightest color, which was my Tahitian Tide. And then I'm just gonna go all over to finish it. This is my kind of blending is where I'm calling this. You see how it seems like it's a little bit like I have 3 tones here? And that was the effect that I kind of wanted that I was going for, is having 3 different tones. I don't know if you can see that. Darker in the corners as I blend. Guys, I tried a new setup today and I have so many shadows and things going on, it's not even funny. That's what I get for changing things in the middle of things, right? Once you find something, set it and forget it, right? You remember the rotisserie thing? Set it and forget it. I didn't set it and I sure did not forget it. I messed with it. And so now I have to deal with what I have, okay? All righty. Again, more water. All right. Get this blending a little bit more. Get that wash, that color. And I'm almost done adding color. Now, I would normally do the bottom, but I'm not even going to worry about that part today because of the design I'm going to do with my card. But here's my finished watercolor panel for the rest of my card. Okay, now let me get this out of the way. What'd you say?
Looks so much like kitchen backsplash tile.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you. So I thank you for making me do this, Michelle. You know, it is July is watercolor month. Thank you, Pam. It is watercolor month, so you are making me come out of my comfort zone by doing this technique. So I do appreciate that. Okay.
We're learning.
I know, right? I'm gonna heat set it a little bit again. Normally, I would have let this dry overnight before I did anything with it. So I'm gonna force the process by heat setting it with my heat tool. Okay. All right, so now that part is done. I have already gone ahead with the coastal weave, like I said, and already done that, the miracle of television. And I've already embossed my panel. So what I need to do now is I'm gonna go in with, this looks like the clouds from the basic borders die. And I'm just gonna cut this as a border. Okay, there's no specific way you can put it. There's no particular way, none of that. So I'm gonna put that right here. And I'm gonna bring out my cut and emboss machine. And I know this is gonna shake the table, so you guys have to forgive me while I get this guy ready and I don't knock everything over. Okay. Now what did I do with my plate? You know, the more you try to prepare for these things, the worse you get. Do you notice that? Because I grabbed my, I swear I did. I swear I grabbed my my cutting plate. And for the life of me, they are nowhere to be found. Oh, there they are. Right. So you won't be able to see it from the front end because that part is out of the frame, but you'll see it when it's coming through on the other end, okay? So all I'm gonna do is line this guy up where I kind of want the frame or the cut to be. Again, nothing specific, nothing particular. I won't tell you go from corner to corner. It is a complete aesthetic principle, whatever it is you think. Oh, that's gonna not be good. Wherever you want to make that diagonal cut is completely up to you. All right, watch it come through on the other end. There you go. Gonna bring it right back. There we go. So how am I doing on time?
You have plenty of time. You have 5 minutes till it's 2 o'clock your time, but you know, we didn't start on time, so.
So I think I'm cognizant of time, you guys, just because I want to make sure that we are respectful of your time. And when we started this concept, it was to make sure that we could see what we could get done within an hour. And so we're trying to remain true to that. But if we go over, that's life. Ha ha ha. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, I already put it on the coastal. And I'm gonna, again, using liquid glue, I'm going to echo the sentiments of the other two ladies, Michelle and Kathy. Because you are working with die cuts, the best glue is liquid glue, or even if you have tear and tape, because of the texture that you have created in the embossed piece, you need that little extra strength in order to make sure that it is adhered properly and that doesn't do a lot of moving and shifting. All right, there we go. Make sure everything is stuck down. And that's what we have. And I purposely did my overlay a little bit longer. Can always trim down to size. It's kind of harder to make it a little bit longer if you need it to be longer. So that's my tip for you guys, is make it a little bit longer and trim where you need to trim if that's necessary. Okay. So guys, guess what? Because of how I cut that on the diagonal, I have another piece that I can do another, oh, I could do that too right now. Isn't that? I didn't think about that. Huh. Well, there you go. Well, that's another card that we could have created, right? Use the bottom half and put a sentiment right in the middle. But that's not where I'm going with my card. Look at that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Maybe I should do that. Huh.
I like that.
I know. But that wasn't my plan, so I'm not going to go with that. Right? That was not my plan. And it's, so all I'm going to do now is just trim that extra off. Right there. And I'm using Night of Navy as my card base. And I am going to use my adhesive sheets, because that's how I roll. Actually, no, I'm just going to use glue again. I'm going to use, I know, happy accidents. They're all happy accidents, right? I'm going to just put that layer down. So the elements were faux tile. I think I did that. Embossing folder. I definitely did that. Watercoloring. I definitely did that. Oh, Lord have mercy. And layers. So this is layer number 2. Right? Get rid of that excess. And then I'm gonna bring out my good old Stamparatus right here and get my sentiment. I need birthday cards, so I decided I was gonna do a birthday sentiment. Why do I have this painter's tape, you guys? Because I have my sentiment already aligned where I want it to be, and I needed those little cheap things to let me know exactly where to put my paper. And I don't normally use my Stamparatus a lot. I tend to use more of my acrylic blocks, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to get my sentiment as dark as I wanted it to be. And so when stuff like that happens, I know exactly where to put my cardstock back at, right there. I think that's pretty dark though, so I'm gonna leave that. Why mess with perfection, they say. So I'm not gonna mess with it. And then the last thing I'm gonna share with you guys is how I'm using this punch. I think I need to trim this down just a bit, so I'm going to trim it down. Just a bit, not a lot. I'm gonna trim it down to about a 2 1/4 inch piece. You can keep it to whatever size you want yours. And I'm gonna use this decorative edge right here to create my label. Okay, let's see if I can do this without standing up. There you go. There you go. There you go. And all I'm gonna do is create. That way, if you don't have time or you don't have like a punch or a die, you can go right ahead and create all kinds of cute little labels for your projects. All right.
That is cute.
I know, isn't it cute? All right, last but not least, I did not create a, and I should, but I'm not going to today because I'm probably already over time. And I'm not gonna go in with some dimensionals because I want that guy to be popped up. Something has to have some kind of dimension on my card. Michelle, how many dimensionals do you think I'm gonna put on my card today?
7.
On this?
Yeah.
You must not know me very well if you think 7.
More? No.
You must not know me very well.
You're just gonna use a whole foam sheet.
Pretty much. All right, anybody that's watching, Michelle says 7. How many do you think I'm gonna use? 1, 2, 3. Oh. 3.
By comparison, I would have used 5 for a piece that size.
You would not?
Yeah, I would use 5, put 1 right in the middle.
Y'all really don't know me at all. What am I up to already?
6,
We're already at 6.
All righty then.
7.
So I should have said like 11.
Well, you should have.
9.
You should have said 11, because that's about what I'm gonna do.
Pam said 12. Amy said 4.
Oh, who said 12? Pam? All right,
Pam.
Pam, you'll get this card. Make sure you message me. I'll send you this card. Just forget being the closest. All right, so there we go. I think it was final count was 11, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, so 12 wins. Ha ha ha. There we go. Put that right there. And I need some bling. So I'm going in with the retired, I think these are retired, the blue adhesive backed gems. I think they work very well with my color palette that I have. And I'm just gonna add them to my card. All right.
I love how you guys use the pointy end of the pointy tool, and I use the spatula end.
Spatula. I actually have been trying to use the glue part because I think those work so well.
I love that for sequins.
Ah, I just use it. I mean, it seems to like, I love it for picking stuff up. Look at how easy it just did that. Oh, well, I just spoke too soon. Huh. There you go. And then the rule of odds, 3, 5. So I'm going to use 3. And then the last thing I have for you guys is my innards, because we never leave a naked inside. And I'm going to find my stamp. I'm going to go in with my Tahitian tide. I'm going to stamp off. I just want a very light impression on the inside. All right. Do a little second generation stamping. How much time am I over, Michelle? I don't want to be over too much.
We're over 5 minutes, but
Not too bad.
you're not over anything.
There we go. And I just have a little bit of an inside. So you can write on it if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. And then I'm just going to, with my liquid glue. Yes, I do make a Z formation. I do. That's how I add my glue. And I am just going to add right here to finish my card. So what do you think, you guys? I am finished with today's version of my card.
Good.
There you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's make sure we get everybody back on camera. Let me take off. Wait. Let's go with. All right. All right, guys, what did you think?
I thought we had fun.
You had fun?
Yes.
I know. I was challenged with the watercolor. I was really challenged with the watercolor. How many of you had done Delft tile before?
I had never heard of it.
Okay.
Never.
What did you think?
I think it's cool. I
What?
did an alternate version of my card, and a little different.
Oh, well, see, you should have told me that. I would have spotlit you. Hold on.
Yeah. A different one.
Uh-huh.
I used the
That was
contour
pretty too.
in the back and just some Orchid Oasis cardstock and cut my little panel down a little bit more. And then I trimmed out. So just a little slightly different to add more.
It's pretty.
There's so many different things you could do with it. And I mean, I was really happy, and I'm going to try it in some purple, in a purple palette, just because blues and purples are my favorite colors in the entire world. So, but you guys, thank you so much again. I gotta roll the die. You guys, I still can't get to my die. Okay, so we got to do a spin the wheel. Okay,
Spin the wheel, roll the die. Same difference.
Same difference, right? So, oh, you're so welcome, Amy. We have so much fun sharing with you guys and racking our brains to come up with some of the wheel. I mean, it's not forgiving. It's never forgiving. No. And I think sometimes when we come up with the projects that we want to work on, we don't necessarily think, well, how will it work with something else? Right?
Yeah.
When Sharon said Delft tile, she was like, okay, that's just the technique, but Delft tile and watercoloring, never heard of that one. Delft tile with an embossing folder, like, what the heck? So it's always challenging to come up with something. So let me put this guy, let me put this one on. Hold on, you guys. I want you to be able to see my iPad. And I don't want you to see my mess. So how about we do that? Right? All right. I'm still coming, y'all. Don't think. Don't think I'm not. All right, let's get back on screen. So I went ahead and here is the tile. Here's our spin the wheel, right? So we have ink blending, die cuts. Huh?
It was showing your picture. Spotlight the spin.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on. See, I'm getting all excited that I forget to do these things. Y'all ready?
Move it
All
over
right.
just a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
We have
right there.
ink blending, ribbon, emboss resist, shaker card, die cuts, and in colors. So let's see. There's 3 of us, so we're gonna go with 3 elements. Okay, next month you got to do something with die cuts. That was Michelle.
Oh, sure. Blame me.
Ink blending. And let's see. Ooh, you got to use ribbon.
All me. All my fault.
So Michelle, you are responsible for what we are creating next month. And so all of our projects next month will have to include ink blending, ribbon, and what was the other one? Ribbon, in colors, right?
In colors. I thought it was die cuts.
No,
It is
die cuts, ink blending, and ribbon.
Okay, so I hope you guys are writing that down and you'll let me know later because I'm not writing.
I just did.
Perfect. Let's see if we want, as always, our cards have to at least be more than 1 layer because we don't do single layer cards. Have to include bling. And do we want to make it a little bit more challenging and go with a particular stamp set, or you just want to leave it like that and what you come up with?
Did we all have the same stamp set?
That's true.
Probably not.
Okay. Well, then we'll leave it at that. We will leave it at that. Oh, I gotta remove the thing for my.
You still there? Aha. There you are.
There.
Unmute your primary.
All righty, there we go. See all these things I gotta think about. Thank you guys for joining me. It was so much fun doing this roll of the die today. And I can't wait to stay up with y'all next month and see what you guys come up with. See you guys
And
later.
that's the thing. We don't know what each other is doing.
That is 100% correct. 100%.
It's
See you guys and we'll have fun. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Thank you.